Hello and welcome to another Excel tutorial. In this video, I will explain how and when to use COUNTIFS function when using Excel. Before we practice, let me explain the use case. Basically, the COUNTIFS formula is used to count the number of times a value repeats in a dataset. This value can be either text or a number. The formula would work on both. Let's do some practice. The data I have here is a data for a sales team where we have a column for order number, order month, the salesperson who took the order, and then the type of the order, which is the different products, order item basically. So the first query that we have is we want to calculate how many orders each of these salesperson placed, which would be essentially calculating how many times each of these names repeats within the column or within this data set, because each of these line is an entry for a new order. So if we can calculate how many times the names repeat in column C, we can tell how many orders each of the salesperson has gotten. So to do this, we will do equal COUNTIFS with an S, open brackets, select the column for the name and then a comma, and then we select the name, so the criteria, close brackets, enter, and then copy the formula down. We got 545 total orders and we've got orders by name. So just confirm how many total orders there are. So we can see there are 545 total orders from the order number. So this was a query that we ran with one criteria where only we wanted to check how many orders were placed by individual by all the salespersons basically. Right, so let's look at the second query. So in our second query, we're going to practice is we've got names and we also got order items. Basically, what we are trying to do here is we want to see how many orders each of the salesperson took for each of the order type. For example, how many orders did Smith take for the pen, for the ink, cartridge, and all of the other items, and similar for the other salespersons. So to do this, we will type COUNTIFS, open brackets. So in this case, what we will be doing is we will be first selecting our first criteria. So first criteria in this case is the name. So we will select the column for the name, comma, and then we will select the name, the criteria itself. Then we will put comma, and then we will select the second criteria range. We can then we will put another comma, and then select the second criteria, which is the pen. We close brackets, enter. Then we get the value, so we can now just drag that formula down, copy it across down, and then we can see that there are total 545 orders, which is the sum of the all orders we've already checked. So just important thing to note here is that to do this formula, so you just need to make sure that you select criteria first, and then you select your so basically select your criteria range first, and then select the criteria itself, and then you can just keep doing that for how many different criteria that you have. There is no limit. So let's try one more query which is a little more advanced. So in this query, what I have is I've got the names, the order items, just like before, and then here what I have is on the columns here. I want to calculate, or I want to count how many orders each of these persons took for each of the items in different months. So we got the month as a as a column here as well, so we want to calculate using that as well. So to do this, we will do COUNTIFS, select our first criteria range, which is the names, comma, criteria second range, comma, the second criteria, and then lastly we want to do select the month, which is the new criteria we've introduced, and then we will put comma, and then we will select our criteria here, which is the month. Close brackets. We've got our orders for Smith for the item of pen for in the month of January. Okay, now what we can do is, let me put the dollar sign so we can copy this formula down and across. So I will lock all of these ranges, all three of them, put dollar signs against these B, C, and D here, you can see. And then in terms of the criteria itself, I want the first one, I want column N to be fixed and leave row 3 floating, so that when I drag the formula down, the rows can keep changing. So I fix column N here, and then I'll fix column O here so that this column O doesn't change. And then here I want to fix the row, which is number 2, and then leave the columns floating. So got that equal. By putting these dollar signs, this has allowed me now to just copy the formula down and also copy this across as well. So now I can count. So if I sum all of these orders together, I can see there are 545 orders taken through this period. This is it. So hope you liked the video. If you have any Excel function or formula that you are struggling with, please leave a comment and I'll try to address that by making another video. And thank you for watching the video.